Hi everybody, welcome friends and family. Recently I found out that half of my family has been watching my video, so welcome to this new video over here. Today I'm going to convince you to learn a new language, and I will convince you that it's not easy, but worth it. Okay, let's dive into it. Last Saturday I went to a anime event. I watch anime. I love watch animes, anime umiru. And I went there thinking I would find a lot of Japanese speakers. I didn't. Little disappointed, but the event itself was gorgeous, was amazing. On my way there, I was talking to an Uber driver. We were talking about learning new languages. And I am an English teacher. I teach English since 2016. It's been a while now. And I've been speaking English for way more than that. But the thing is, a lot of people treat learning a new language like a hobby. I see them downloading Duolingo and expecting to Duolingo be the savior of their lives, which it ain't the fact. The promise Duolingo delivers is that you will learn a new language. It's a learning language app, but it ain't, okay? It's an app more to practice, but you have to have other resources. And we have a bunch of resources free online out there. But the thing is, we do have all this AI and all these technologies that you can have access to anything, anyone, online for free instantly. Why? And we all speaking 6, 7 languages, at least 3 languages out there, all right? We ain't. I see a lot of monolinguals in this world. But we have the resources, but that ain't happening. Why? Today I would like to talk about why it's so demanding to speak a new language and what we have to do to make it easier. Because I don't feel like you can treat learning a new language like a hobby or something to do instead of doom scrolling. I feel like it's a sacrifice you have to do, and you have to have the goal of learning a new language. You cannot just switch something in your brain and say, well, now you have perfect grammar and have perfect vocabulary. It's not how it works. You have to actually shape a new entire version of yourself. And that's demanding. You have to be open to change. Because when you learn a new language, you just don't learn the grammar or how to say things. You actually learn how to think differently. And that shapes your personality. You have to accept new values, new culture, new history, new worldviews of the language. It's a lot of things that happens inside of us. And that happened to me. When I learned Japanese, I started to be way more formal in my own mother tongue. I started even to do the greetings like that, like Ohayou gozaimasu or gomenasai. Like a lot of things changed. It's not forced. That's the thing. It's not forced. It's something that you just start doing it. You just start to identify with the language, you start to identify with the culture, and then it changes your daily life. And the formality levels of the Japanese changed me. Now I treat other people or people that I don't know with way more formality, way more politeness. In Brazil, you can call your boss bro. Okay, it ain't that nuance, it ain't that hierarchy. In the speech, it does have the respect, but it ain't on the speech, the way you treat others, the way you approach others. It's very different between cultures, and that's something you learn with a new language, because it comes along with it. It comes along these values and how to approach people, and all of these things, they come along when you learn a new language. So you have this identity shift, you have this cognitive growth. You have to be open to change. I see a lot of people that they are not ready to change. They're not ready to let go of themselves. They just want to speak. Oh no, just put a chip in your brain and easy. It's not like that. You have to actually build a new version of yourself. And something that we all know, that being bilingual, or a lot of polyglots out there know, is that increases your memory, increases your logical thinking, increases your problem-solving skills, and it reduces the probability of you developing a mental disease, Alzheimer, anxiety, depression. All of this can be reduced when you learn a new language because you're using a lot of your brain, so it's an exercise, blah, blah, blah. But something that people don't talk about when you learn a new language is you actually see how history shaped our society. But the languages, they teach you this. With languages, you can see how communities have found each other, how they influenced each other. It has a lot of history behind languages, like trade routes, like colonization as well. You see a lot of details. And when you find like roots they are in common with, like, a root of a word, and you see that root in common with different languages, you're like, I wonder why that came along. And you start to see this web of human communication. And that's beautiful. That's pure cinema. And that's beautiful. Something it comes along with learning language is history. This enhance of history understanding. Languages, they are not random. They were shaped by empires, trade routes, conquests, migrations, and all of this. It's shown. And when you speak the language, you can sense that, especially if you have very good referentials, like a range of referentials about the language. And that's beautiful, bro. It talks way more about power and dominance of cultures as well, because history because of the language, because of roots, because of connections, because of blah. It's amazing. So increases your understanding of the world, learning a new language, learning new languages in plural. And when you learn about that, you understand how civilization rose, how some empires fell, how society was built in some ways in some places of the world, even how it shaped one another. That's what learning a new language can give you. The language is not an isolated event. It also gives you the possibility of seeing a map of human connections, right? And how things are connected, this web. And it's so good when you are learning a language and you feel like, oh my God, I know that root. And you start to understand why the root is there and how languages shaped one another, and how the dominance and the power and the conquests. It's divine. Seriously. And yes, I talked about the fact that we have a lot of technologies out there, right? We have a lot of technologies to have the resources to learn, but we also have the technologies to not learn anything at all, because you can translate anything nowadays, right? That's very good. That increases our connections with people and places as well, things we would never know, but now that they are in our mother tongue, we can have access to education or philosophies, textbooks, poetry, worldviews, and all of that. But we can lose meaning when we translate things. If you are linguistic, you probably read Schopenhauer and you know his thoughts on translation. A translation is like a tapestry viewed from the wrong side. We lose a lot of things when we translate. And when you have this bag of other language that comes with values, culture, all the things I said before, you can dive into way more meanings than just a translation would, because you are surrounded by the worldview of that language. The translation would you would have lost it if you translate it. So I am not against translation itself, because I know it connects us, but not everything is translated out there as well. Even though we can translate it, things, they are not translated like freely. You have to have a force that goes there and translate for you, and then you have access to it. But if the things ain't translated, how would you have access? How would you find things interesting per se and go there and acquire knowledge, right? So knowing different languages gives you this access, this opportunities, these new doors, open doors, so you can find knowledge for yourself. You can find new meanings. You can expand the way you see the ideas, the philosophies, the values per se. Alright? It's like you can interpret the world for yourself. You don't need a translator. You can understand it. It's like independence of thought. Something that learning a language also gives you is understanding of time. Not just the time that you have to spend learning the language, but when you learn different languages, you will see that each society has a way of speaking about time and how to communicate, in what order you will use your words. They shape time and how time is actually spoke. Let's say future, past, and present. You have different ways of expressing yourself. And if you learn Tupi-Guarani, you will see that they don't have this separation of time. They don't conjugate. They don't have verb tenses. And that's fun. That's awesome. That's a way of, it's how they view the world. There ain't no past, there ain't no future, there's just the now. That time is not linear. Time is fluid. There is no I will. There's just I am. And that's fantastic. That's a way of seeing the world. And don't you think that this gives you a shock? Don't you think that this makes you think? It's brilliant. Come on. And I know there are other languages. I don't know where now, if it is in Philippines, but they don't have a lot of colors on their vocabulary. They have just shades of green and shades of blue. Come on, that's beautiful. Can you see how languages changes us? And when you learn more languages, you can expand the way you see the world and things, and think and feel and express yourself. I'm trying to convince you to start now learning a new language. Come on. Am I making it? Yeah, we have an entire different way of thinking and questioning ideas you assumed were universal, like how time works. Well, another thing is that when you learn a new language, you're not just putting new words in your head. You're also changing how you communicate with the world. You're changing how you position yourself, how you speak. One thing that a lot of coaches or mentors says is that you have to be very good in your language. You have to know grammar to communicate well. You have to know the rules of communicating. You have to read a lot of books. I had a physical chemistry teacher that once said that you will only write a good report if you have read all the Machado de Assis works. He was a huge fan of Machado de Assis. And I did that. I started reading him. And I loved it. And it changed how I communicated myself. It changed a lot of things as well. But the way you communicate, the way you can express yourself, your vocabulary is directly linked to what you consumed. And it's directly linked to what sort of words you have. So if you read more books in any language, you can improve your communication, but especially communicating improves your communication. And there are 4 pillars of learning a new language, okay? So you have to listen, you have to speak, you have to read, and you have to write. When you master these 4 pillars, you're an expert on that language. So if you don't speak that language, you will have to speak. I already said in one video before, but I think I deleted it, that you have to practice the language you want to speak. You have to. You speak, you're already improving your communication. It comes with as a consequence. When you communicate yourself better, what changes in your life? Your confidence increases, your self-esteem increases, you become more interesting to people around you because you communicate so sexy. Last thing I would like to say, the why you should learn new language is, I was talking to a British girl some days ago, and she was telling me that after learning Portuguese, she went to Africa. She went to a lot of countries there, and because of the language, she felt way more connected to people, and she could learn so much more about the culture, and she could erase some prejudice she had. That's something so valuable. When you learn a language, I think you become less racist. Because, come on, you're so open to knowledge, you're so open to learning, you're so open to changing that you appreciate way more the different cultures. You're so wide open to life that you stop hating people, and you stop hating cultures, and you stop hating a lot of things. Knowledges, books, etc. Because you see through them, you see through the history, you see through the culture, you see through the values. And that makes you less racist. And that's awesome. Those were my points of why you should learn a new language, and I hope you liked it, and I hope it was helpful, and I hope I provoked you a little bit to see that it ain't easy. You have a lot of work to do. It's demanding, but it has an high ROI, return on investment. So don't take this as a joke. Don't take this as a hobby. I don't know, because a hobby is something you have to suck for. You don't have to be actually good at it. But I think learning a language, you will become eventually good at it, But it's not just a pastime. It's a medicine for life. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I see you later, alligator.